Hey, how we doing? It's JJ. I've just come out for a real sort of short wander on that today, and I've come into a wood that I've frequented for over 30 odd years, and the path that's directly behind me, this is a well-used bridleway, but it's a ride that the horses in that use. It gets a lot of like footfall traffic from walkers and cyclists and horse riders. But to each side, what they've done is they've sort of cleared a good 20 to 30 meters each side out of it, and what they've actually done is they've taken a lot of the hardwoods out from there. So there's a lot of hornbeam. They're getting rid of some of the ash, which wasn't too healthy, and I've just actually passed a guy in one of the little sort of estate vehicles. They're now starting to like clear it all out from the felled timber, and I just asked him, you know, what's going to be done, because they've obviously thinned it out, but he said that they were actually going to start planting a lot more hazel, dogwood, and like thorn type shrubs and that, to encourage new biodiversity, new plant life, and encourage more birds and insects to come into this area to regenerate the ride, and that's good to see, rather than them just taking down trees and leaving it as it is. So that's good to see. So I'm just out on a little wander, and I'll bring it back in, and I'll see if we can come across anything today. It's not going to be a long one. Catch you in a bit. I'm just kind of out wandering and that today. I've got my pack on, and I've actually brought a flask out with coffee, but I'm just starting to walk through this bit of the wood that's got a lot of pine that's been planted, and there's quite a few bits that's come down from a tree just up here, and judging by the smell of it, it's come down quite recently. So I think what I'll do is, although I've got my coffee with me, I'm just going to take a couple of these bits. I have actually brought my foraging bag. I think that'll do me. Just take a handful, and I might just take that home, strip the needles down, and seep it into some hot water, and see how that goes. You know, pine needle tea. So I'll whack that in my foraging pouch, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just out just for a little wander really, and just to see what I can find today. So, you know, it's into spring now. This is where you start to see a lot of new life and new plants and that coming through. So yeah, just seeing what I can make of what I find when I'm out. So let's carry on. I'll take this with me. So I'm just wondering, I could actually see this from quite a way. This is quite a young, small hawthorn. Hawthorn's part of the rose family. Crataegus is part of its species, genera, and it actually has quite a lot of medicinal uses. Pretty much all part of the hawthorn can be used. The leaves, the bark, the flowers, and the berries. Now obviously this is at the wrong time of the year for the berries. You know, you get those real red berries on hawthorn, sometimes called white thorn, mayflower, and yeah, you know, it can be used, like the berries and that are used in jellies and jams, wine, things like that. The flowers can be used in all sorts of things. It has a lot of medicinal uses. Digestive tract problems, kidney problems. It's just used quite a lot. Some of the key parts of it are used in high and low blood pressure problems. Helps aid with cardiac stuff and that as well. So it's just nice to start sort of gelling up and finding stuff like this when you're out. So it's quite a small one. It's quite a young one. But this time of year, it's just nice to actually see the leaves, the blossom coming out as well. So I just thought I'd show you that. stop and have my coffee now. Just walked through this section of the wood and they cleared out a load of young pine a good few years ago and just scattered around. It's probably about, I don't know, 60 to 80 8 to 10 foot poles. I'm kind of thinking about coming back up here and making a little shelter out of them all. Somebody else has already had a go at it, but it's not been touched since I saw it last year, so I might just give that a whiz. But as I was walking up through, there was an area that had a little bit of a wallow pond, like a pond in a sunken area, and I come across some great turkey tail, which is like, you know, it's a form of like a bracket fungus, turkey tail. Now obviously I took some pictures of it, but I couldn't get close enough to actually do the filming segment, so I'll put the pictures up in this video. And turkey tail is another great thing that if you harvest it very carefully and juice it down and seep it in boiling water, it makes a really good medicinal tea. And I know a few friends, my friend Tim Mottishaw, Kookley Bushcraft, and Jason Kalaz, the wild Nesteron, he's done that as well, and it does have some really good sort of benefits for the immune system. So I'll include that in the video. I'll show you the pictures. But I've just come out today, when I come out and I'm just trying to find things and spot things and do some reference checks on it, I always carry these two books with me. Let me just come up out of shot. So the first one we have is the Bloomsbury Pocket Guide to Wildflowers, and this is by Bob Gibbons. The photographs and that in it are really good. And the other one is the classic Collins Gem Food for Free by Richard Maybe. This is the little masterpiece of a little book, and that all you need to know: ramsons, water mints, field mushroom, everything. I always carry these two books with me. They're tiny, I can fit them in my pockets, but I carry them in the pack, and they're just a really handy guide to have when you're out. And by no means least is my knowledge on this stuff is not that extensive, but I'm always learning more. And by carrying these, they're two great little books. So yeah, the Bloomsbury Pocket Guide to Wildflowers and the Collins Gem Food for Free. Definitely recommend getting those books. Again, I'll take pictures of them and I'll put them in the video at some point as well. You know, when you go out, just have a look, you know, take pictures. Even if you haven't got reference guides with you, get back home, look online and just sort of look around. Spring's a great time. I was actually hoping to come out today, find some wild primrose, maybe some dog violets, but I just think this type of woodland's not suitable to them. I haven't seen, I saw a couple of small ones, but the flowers hadn't quite come out yet, so it wasn't really worth taking a picture of. But in some of the other woods that I go to, absolutely full of wild primrose, and I say the flowers, they're lovely in salads and things like that. And you just learn as you're going out. You know, I'm sat on this dead old silver birch tree. It's covered in, some of them are rotten, but silver birch polypore, which can be used to, you know, like strop, hone your knives. That's what the barbers and early bushcrafters and that used to do. And you just pick this stuff up as you go out. So I'm probably not going to film anymore. I'm just out having a wander, seeing what I can spot. It's early spring. Let's see what the rest of spring has. Just like to thank you to all my subscribers for sort of staying with me and continuing with me on this journey, and thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up again soon. Bye.